Hello, my name is Harmeet Jhagra, and today I will be presenting a research paper I have completed based on waste management. The topic of my research is, can waste management be improved to engage the public rather than being a burden? Waste management covers a variety of tasks from collection to final disposal, be it on an industrial scale or for individual households. With landfills contributing a substantial amount towards the climate change crisis, it is imperative now, more so than ever, to be mindful of what happens to the waste produced. In 2016, 2.01 billion tonnes of waste was produced globally, of which 40% was in landfill. There are several negative effects of landfills, such as climate change, contaminated soil and water, and danger to wildlife. The purpose of this paper is to explore alternative solutions to waste management to engage the public rather than being viewed as a burden. This research will analyse and evaluate the current habits and opinions of the public in relation to recycling and waste management to ascertain whether there are alternative solutions to engage the public. Research aims and objectives. So what are the current recycling habits of the public? Are current recycling and waste management facilities adequate? What improvements would make recycling and waste management more convenient? Are there feasible waste management solutions that increase engagement from the public? Research method. The research method used was a pragmatic approach that combines quantitative and qualitative data, which permits the issue of waste management to be addressed in a logical and practical manner. The research carried out was in the form of a survey for the public as well as interviews for industry professionals. Prior to the surveys being conducted, an ethics application was submitted which included a participant form that outlined any associated risks. A desktop study was also carried out in the form of literature reviews to obtain further information on waste management. 3 documents are researched in relation to waste management. The first is a global snapshot of waste management to 2050, which stated that it is expected that 3.4 billion tonnes of waste is to be produced in 2050. Also stated that high-income areas include more waste, including Europe. San Francisco composting case study. San Francisco local government, alongside recycling company Recology, have worked together in order to create a citywide food collection strategy for the use of composting to aid zero waste goals. Composting reduces greenhouse gas emissions by 93,000 tonnes per year by carbon sequestration, which is a process where plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and stores in the soil. This system of regenerative agriculture is designed to reverse the current global accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and fight climate change. The study also stated that composting diverted 80% of waste from reaching landfill. Public awareness campaigns and education programs were used, such as the Soil Advocate Programme, and free educational resources were provided. The Leeds City Council Waste Strategy 2019. This acknowledges that the public have increased recycling in recent years, however, there is a long way to go before reaching the net zero carbon 2030 goal. One of the facilities the council uses is the recovery of energy from waste, which powers homes from the energy produced by incineration of waste. This facility also has technology which allows the recyclable materials to be separated from general waste. No changes to waste collections are to be made until 2023 in line with the UK government. Research findings. 31 responses were received from the survey, and the age distribution of participants can be seen below. It should be noted the distribution is not even across the participants, and this may reflect in further data. Out of all the participants, only one member stated that they did not recycle. So, I recycle all household items where possible. From the bar graph on the right, it is clear that the majority of participants agree with the statement. I am confident in which items can and cannot be recycled. From the pie chart on the right, it shows most participants agree with the statement, whereas 29% either disagree or are neutral. The participants that expressed they were neutral or disagreed with the statement mainly fell into the 18 to 24 and 25 to 35 category. There are adequate recycling and waste management services. This shows a mixed response as 55% of responses agree and 32% disagree. The participants that agree with the statement were mainly households that recycled more waste than others. There is adequate information available on what items can and cannot be recycled, which again shows a mix of results, however more participants agreed with the statement. Do you think recycling is important? All responses to the question either agreed or strongly agreed with the question. Do you think incentives should be provided to encourage recycling? The pie chart shows most participants agree that incentives should be provided. The responses that disagreed tended to be participants that recycle more than others and are confident in what should and should not be recycled. Please state all the items that you recycle. The most common items were paper, cardboard, plastic, and glass, with the least recycled being food, clothes, and metal. I find packaging information easy to understand in regard to whether it is recyclable. The participants that strongly agree with this statement were also the participants that recycle the greatest number of items. Please provide any suggestions that you have that would make recycling and waste management more convenient and efficient. The responses received were more collections, more education, incentives, and to push manufacturers to take responsibility over packaging. In review of the data obtained from the questionnaire, one of the emerging points is that although most participants recycle, there is an education issue, as many agree there is not enough information to encourage the public to recycle, which the Leeds City Council Waste Strategy has acknowledged. Facilities such as the recovery of energy from waste provide educational resources. However, this is targeted to visitors and not to the public as a whole. As supported by responses from the questionnaire, the UK government could provide public awareness campaigns to highlight the importance of waste management, similar to the San Francisco case study where soil advocate training is provided. In addition, there was a high correlation to the amount of waste recycled and participants who found packaging easy to understand in terms of what can and cannot be recycled. This supports that education is a leading factor in increasing and engaging the public to recycle. Another interesting point from the data is that all participants agreed recycling is an important issue, yet the majority also wanted incentives to encourage them to do so. If there was more education revolving around the severity of the global waste management situation, as outlined in the Global Snapshot of Waste Management 2050, it may push the public to engage with recycling further without the need for incentives. The amount of collections and facilities available was also a recurring theme regarding improving recycling habits, as many found the facilities were not sufficient. For example, not all areas have food waste collections, and participants living in urban areas found facilities are not easily accessible. Creating more collections and having more facilities would make recycling accessible and convenient. However, the Leeds City Council Waste Strategy has already addressed that further funding would be required and would only be implemented in line with the government's waste strategy from 2023 onwards. Conclusion. Considering all the data presented in this report, it is clear to see that waste management is a critical issue globally, and by 2050, global waste could increase to 3.4 billion tonnes. The findings of this research paper identify current issues and solutions surrounding current waste management, such as insufficient education and public awareness and waste management facilities. Increased collections would make waste management more convenient and accessible for the public. However, the Leeds City Council have outlined that without government support, the facilities would remain unchanged until 2023. As such, the current focus should be on educating the public on the consequences of poor waste management to increase public engagement and ease the process. The limitations of the research paper were that interviews could not be conducted with the industry professionals due to time restraints. Areas for further research would be to present suggestions from the report to the industry professionals, as well as the role manufacturers play in relation to their packaging. Although the lack of interviews had a small impact, the data and existing literature has provided conclusive suggestions as to what would make the UK public engage with waste management without being viewed as a burden. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.